Last day on the island of flowers, and as often happens in these moments, we are no longer trying to check boxes. So for this final chapter, we decided to head out to the sea, to leave dry land for a while, and see Martinique from a different perspective, from the water. On the agenda, a boat trip departing from Le Marin, a few lesser-known beaches glimpsed from offshore, a snorkeling break, a journey through the mangroves, and finally, a barefoot lunch in the sand near Sainte-Anne. Before one last stop at the famous Clément estate. A day without rushing, but still full of beautiful discoveries. Our day begins at the port of Le Marin. We have a meeting with Damien, the captain of Ti Tour Bato. Damien has a warm smile and a lilting accent, unmistakably from the southwest of France.
Allez, c'est parti! À droite, c'est le Club Med que vous voyez.
And for good reason. Before settling here, he was a business owner in Toulouse, a fast-paced, full life. He left it behind to drop anchor in Martinique.
Jusqu'à présent, j'ai géré la société qu'on avait en métropole. Pendant 15 ans, on a eu plusieurs magasins et Mélanie a géré ça. On avait des responsables de magasins dans chaque magasin. Et ensuite, là, on a stoppé notre entreprise et on a ouvert ici une société de conciergerie où on s'occupe de l'accueil des gens, du ménage, du linge, de commercialiser les biens sur Internet, sur les plateformes comme Airbnb, Booking. Mélanie, elle gère toute cette partie-là. Et en plus, on a ouvert dans cette conciergerie une activité jardin et entretien de piscine.
Today, from his small boat, he shares a new relationship with time. His boat is tiny, just 5.5 meters. But that's precisely what makes all the difference. Thanks to its size, we can get close to the coast, slip into hidden coves, glide through the mangroves, and above all, enjoy the silence. On board, it's just Damien and us. A private boat, a trip at our own pace, far from the crowded catamaran tours and group excursions. With Ti Tour Bato, every trip is designed as a unique experience.
C'est quelque chose qui ne se pratique pas, je pense, ici, en fait. C'est plus des bateaux plus grands, en fait, où il y a 8, 10, 12 personnes. Tu n'as pas la privatisation, quoi, en fait. Sinon, tu peux la demander, hein. Mais en termes de prix, c'est pas quelque chose qui se pratique énormément, quoi.
Damien offers several types of outings.
Alors, j'ai plusieurs balades. J'ai cette balade que je vous fais découvrir qui s'appelle la balade d'évasion tropicale, où on découvre la mangrove, la baie de Sainte-Anne. Il y a une plage très intimiste qui s'appelle Anse-Meunier. Ensuite, on va découvrir Petite Anse des Salines, Grande Anse des Salines. Et on va jusqu'à la limite entre la Caraïbe et l'Atlantique, qui est Anse-à-Prune, là où il y a la Table du Diable et l'île Cabri. Et ensuite, on refait un retour du côté de la côte de Anse-Figuier. Et là, je vous amène à la réserve naturelle de la Pointe Borgnesse, où il y a quantité de variétés de poissons différentes, des coraux. C'est là où viennent passer leur baptême de plongée, en fait, ceux qui font de la plongée en bouteille.
He also organizes sunset tours, or custom rides built around your desires of the moment.
Et ensuite, j'ai une autre balade autour du Rocher du Diamant. J'ai encore une autre balade où je vais jusqu'à Anse-d'Arlé voir les tortues. J'ai une autre balade où on fait un coucher de soleil, en fait. On part en fin de journée et on fait un petit apéro sur le bateau au coucher de soleil.
And for those who enjoy it, he offers early morning line fishing trips.
Un petit concept, tu vois, de prendre une petite formule 1 à 4 personnes, c'est quelque chose qui plaît beaucoup parce que les gens découvrent, visitent et en même temps sont qu'entre eux, quoi, tu vois. Ça, c'est le petit côté intimiste.
What he shares isn't just an itinerary. It's a relationship with the sea, with silence, with the island. Above all, it's a different way to discover Martinique, more intimate, more mindful, more free.
En fait, je m'adapte beaucoup à ce que veulent faire les gens, quoi.
Very quickly, the scenery begins to change. We head toward wilder spots.
Ça, c'est Anse-Figuier, là, toujours.
The boat glides gently with the soft swell. Then, we reach Les Salines beach. We cruise along the shallow waters and spot swimmers enjoying a morning dip. We had already visited a few days earlier, on foot, like everyone else, but rediscovering it from the sea is something else entirely. From the boat, the perspective opens up completely. The perfect curve of the shoreline, the pillows lining the sand, the contrast between the lush greenery and the turquoise water. Everything feels calmer, wider, almost unreal. Damien slows down. We cut the engine, and for a few moments, we simply let ourselves drift. A small glass of planter punch in hand, and a slice of homemade cake thoughtfully prepared by his wife. Nothing extravagant, but everything's here. The silence, the sea, the welcome, and that rare feeling of being exactly where you are meant to be at the perfect moment. As if Martinique were giving us one final wink. We head a little further out to sea, where he offers a snorkeling break. We put on our masks and dive into crystal clear water. Below the surface, a few corals, colorful fish, and that sensation of being somewhere else, just carried by the currents in the middle of nowhere. After this interlude, we set course toward Rivière Pilote. Damien takes us into the Poirier River, a calm waterway that winds through the mangrove. The contrast is immediate. The atmosphere becomes hushed, almost silent, disturbed only by the soft lapping of water against the hull and the birdsong hidden among the branches. Here, a different Martinique reveals itself, quieter, more fragile, but just as captivating, and for us, a gentle way to end this journey. After the boat trip, we are back on land, still gently rocked by the waves, and above all, starving. We head to Paille Bô Kay, a small restaurant just next to Pointe-Marin Beach, in Sainte-Anne. No big signs here, no flashy decor. Just a simple, welcoming atmosphere, and above all, food that truly hits the mark.
Ça fait longtemps qu'ils sont là quand même, et puis ça reste local, et puis on se sent comme à la maison, donc finalement on a plaisir à venir là, et puis on est comme chez nous quoi, du coup, donc n'hésitez pas à venir et puis partager un petit punch. Et bien les bons plats, ah ouais, les plats et tout, les soupes et tout ça, et puis les jams du samedi soir. Le samedi soir, les jam sessions de samedi soir avec plein d'artistes et tout différents de l'une. C'est cool, c'est assez sympa, et puis tu sais, c'est assez exclusif et tout, tu vois. On est dans un coin qui est dans le sud, où on est assez... ça reste petit, ça reste convivial. On n'est pas sur des grands axes et tout ça, et puis voilà quoi.
The food is incredibly good. Grilled fish, accras, local gardens, homemade desserts. Everything is fresh, generous, and prepared with care. You can feel that nothing is left to chance. And yet, everything is done with a light-hearted spirit. There is something truly familial here, in the best sense of the word. Cynthia, the owner, is in the kitchen, but always keeps an eye on the dining area. She moves from table to table, chatting, smiling, never overdoing it.
On a vraiment plaisir à recevoir nos clients chez Paille Bô Kay pour qu'ils puissent vraiment percevoir la cuisine qu'on leur fait découvrir et voir toute la passion et l'amour qu'on met dans nos assiettes. Ça peut passer vraiment par une très belle salade avec des fruits de saison ou les légumes de saison parce qu'on mélange beaucoup les fruits et les légumes dans nos salades. Et le poisson aussi, on a vraiment de très bons pêcheurs ici et j'arrive à me procurer les poissons de saison et c'est le poisson du matin qui sera servi dans vos assiettes. Et voilà, la cuisine c'est une passion pour moi et j'essaie de faire véhiculer ma passion à toutes les personnes qui viennent découvrir Paille Bô Kay. Et on a des bons cocktails aussi et des cocktails qu'on ne trouve qu'ici, il faut venir les découvrir. Et avec de belles personnes, toujours très souriantes et on vous attend.
There is always someone around, someone to engage with if you are open to it. That's also part of Martinique. Unexpected encounters that leave a lasting impression. We take a short stroll along the beach before heading off to visit Clément estate. Located in Le François on Martinique's Atlantic coast, Clément estate is much more than a former plantation. It's a place of memory, history, craftsmanship and Creole culture. The visit begins right at the entrance with a beautifully designed tropical garden. As we arrive, the setting is immediately striking. 16 hectares of meticulously maintained tropical gardens, where winding paths lead through ponds, royal palms, and an incredible variety of exotic plants. From the very first steps, you are surrounded by lush vegetation, rows of towering royal palms, spiny sandbox trees, vibrant tropical flowers, trees from across the world's tropics, and scattered throughout, contemporary artworks. This garden, built on former industrial wasteland, was created in the early 1990s. It now covers what used to be the distillery's decantation basins, transformed into ponds. They are home to aquatic wildlife. And the paths lead up to the top of a small hill where a traditional animal-powered sugar mill has been reconstructed. The atmosphere is calm, shaded, and forcefully designed. A small footbridge crosses a ravine, then the path winds through a symbolic sugarcane field. Little by little, the layout of the estate is revealed. A little further on, we step into the aging cellars. The air is heavier here, saturated with the scent of wood, sugar, and alcohol. This is where rum becomes aged rum, resting for at least 3 years in oak barrels. The tropical heat speeds up the aging process. Each year, about 8% of the rum evaporates, known as the angel's share. The barrels are stacked in pyramid formations. Some of them come from Kentucky and were once used for bourbon. You will also spot large wooden vats called foudres, custom made in cognac and reassembled here by skilled coopers. Each cellar bears a name. Omer Charles, Georges Louis, Jean José. A genealogical tree built from casks. It's in these spaces that the cellar master blends, dilutes, oxygenates, and refines the blends. We arrive at the old distillery founded by Omer Clément in 1917. Inactive since the late 1980s, the building has been transformed into a rum and industrial heritage interpretation center. Inside, everything is original. The steam boilers manufactured in Saint-Quentin, the double-effect Corliss engine, the copper distillation columns, the sugarcane crushers. Everything is still there, carefully restored, explained, and showcased. You learn how steam powered the rollers that crushed the sugarcane, how fermentation turned the juice into sugarcane wine, and how the column produced rum at 70% alcohol before it was gradually reduced to 50 or 55%. One section is dedicated to the workers of that time, distillers, mechanics, helpers, all trained on the job. Portraits, audio testimonies, and a photo exhibition pay tribute to these former workers. As we exit, we walk alongside a vast open-air courtyard. This is the machinery garden. This is where carts loaded with sugarcane used to arrive. Today, it showcases an impressive collection of vintage equipment, sugar boilers, massive gears, crushing rollers, and old barrels. Among the most striking pieces are a diesel locomotive once used to connect the plantations to the factory in Lefrançois, and a GMC truck imported after World War II. We learned that this shift marked the end of transport by oxen and mules, a turning point in the modernization of the industry. We now head towards the main residence. Below it stands a more modest building that once served to host visiting guests. Today, it houses a documentary gallery featuring historical photographs and notable archival materials. The most iconic is a photo of the meeting in March 1991 between François Mitterrand and Aimé Césaire. On that day, the French president hosted US President George Bush on the estate during a summit held just after the Gulf War. This image, displayed inside, symbolizes both the site's diplomatic significance and its cultural importance. As we walk up towards the main house, we came across the old stables. Partially built in masonry, which once housed the owner's horses. The entire structure reflects the balance between functionality and elegance that defines 19th century Creole rural architecture. We then head back up towards the main house, starting with the former domestic complex. A central courtyard around which the estate's utility buildings are arranged. Perched at the top of the hill, the main house overlooks the entire property. Built in the first half of the 19th century, it's a perfect example of traditional Creole architecture. A well-proportioned wooden house, topped with a four-sided roof and surrounded by verandas, wide covered galleries that protect from the weather while encouraging airflow. From the moment you step inside, it's clear this house was designed for the tropical climate. The rooms are cross-ventilated, with openings on opposite walls, adjustable shutters, and high ceilings. This natural ventilation, a core principle of Creole architecture, allows the trade winds to flow freely, cooling the interiors without any artificial system. The layout follows the central axis. You enter through the front veranda, an open reception space where guests were welcomed. Card games played or books read in the shade. From there, a central hallway to the main living areas. To the left, you find the living room, furnished with rattan chairs, antique pieces, a few family portraits, and sometimes a piano. This was the heart of social life. Opposite, the dining room is organized around a large solid wooden table, surrounded by sideboards and period objects, fine china, candlesticks, serving dishes. The atmosphere is understated, yet refined. On the other side, a smaller, more private office once served as a space for writing or managing affairs. It still contains a writing desk, all documents, and a few books, an intimate space often reserved for the head of the household. At the back of the hall, a wooden staircase leads upstairs to the bedrooms. They are laid out in a row to make the most of light and air circulation. Each bedroom is furnished with a four-poster bed, a mosquito net, a vanity or dresser. Some written personal items and period fabrics, faithfully recreating the ambience of the time. Finally, at the rear, a more private veranda opens onto the garden. Facing the plantations, it was used for quiet family moments, away from the bustle of daily life. Not far from the main house, but deliberately separate, stands the outdoor kitchen. As in all Creole estates, it was built apart from the main building for safety reasons and to keep the heat away from the living spaces. This is where daily meals were prepared, as well as banquets for special occasions. The facilities, stoves, work surfaces, and traditional utensils reflect the culinary expertise and the central role this space played in the household's daily life. Finally, Across the courtyard from the main house, a small contemporary gallery completes the visit. This building regularly hosts temporary exhibitions showcasing Martiniquans' art, historical memory, photographic or heritage projects. It's a space for dialogue between eras, where you can feel the intention to keep the estate alive without locking it in the past, blending heritage, culture, and contemporary creativity. It extends the story of the estate. As we head back down, we pass through a more contemporary space, the Clément Foundation. It hosts temporary exhibitions, artist residencies, and preserves archives related to the history of Martinique. In this modern wing, seamlessly integrated into the estate, the past engages in dialogue with the present. The visit ends with a stop at the shop. Here, you'll find the full range of Clément rums, from classic blends to the rarest vintages. You will also discover punches, local honey, chocolate, books, and a selection of artisanal crafts. A tasting table is set up nearby. You can sample a white rum, an aged one, or even an XO, and have a chat with the team. It's the perfect way to extend the pleasure or simply prolong the sensory experience. Clément Estate is not a frozen museum piece. It's a living place, one that tells 2 centuries of agricultural, industrial, social, and human history. A place where Martinique's sugar producing and colonial past is told without filters, but also a place of transmission, craftsmanship, and cultural openness. Last day, final stop, and yet it feels like we've just uncovered another side of Martinique, more intimate, more serene, like a deep breath after the intensity of the days before. This boat trip, the lunch at Paille Bô Kay, and the visit of Clément Estate, each, in its own way, sums up what we loved here. The generosity of the people we met, the richness of the heritage, and that unique relationship with time. We leave the island with the feeling that we've touched on something essential, not just landscapes or tourist spots, but a way of life, a memory, a sensibility. And we already know this island will stay with us for a long time. If you enjoyed this film, we invite you to discover all our episodes on our YouTube channel and to subscribe to explore more destinations. And so, our journey through Martinique comes to an end. See you soon for new discoveries.